Oh yeah, I want to mention to folks that the call is being recorded. Last time I said don't make any your mama jokes. I didn't nobody laughed, but now I got two laughs.
Why can't we make your mama jokes? Why? Just because we're recording.
Oh no. Just don't make any your mama.
And I'm joking.
Don't say anything you don't want anybody to hear. Okay? So let's see. And what's on you guys' I guess iPod or playlist right now?
Music wise,
Yes, music wise.
I can't tell you guys that. You'll judge me.
The titles? Oh.
It's a safe
I have
place.
like
Go ahead.
Alkaline, Pop Smoke,
Pop Smoke, yeah.
Popcorn. I
Yeah.
have all like dance hall and like real like I don't know what Pop Smoke falls under, but that's my playlist.
He's my playlist at the gym. He definitely gets me pumped, like hearing, all about, whatever he
And
talks
Cardi
about. I
B.
never know.
I have Pop Smoke as well on mine, and a lot of reggaeton. I like a lot of Beyonce, Lady Gaga, like all the pop goddesses. I love them all.
Love Beyonce, love Rihanna.
Yeah, Rihanna.
Okay, so I got Pop Smoke, Popcorn, Alkaline, Squash. I have mostly a lot of dancehall because I'm Jamaican. And then like Cardi B, Pop Smoke, Beyonce, Cardi B, and Rihanna, but that's it mostly. Because I'm one of those people that once I find something, I listen to it all the time, like until I'm tired of it, and then I move on.
Yeah.
What do you have in yours?
So I have a little Ariana Grande. I have like The Weeknd. Like I put a mix of different stuff just to see like what's out there, what's new on I listen to Tidal. So I like to just search there and see what they have.
Tidal, yes, girl.
I love Tidal. It's such a good platform for so many different artists.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
You have to try that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's 6:29. Let's see, we have 5 folks on. We're expecting more. But let's see. Oh, Taja was off somehow. I was just about to ask her.
No, she's on. She's not off.
Oh, okay. No, it seems like she signed on twice. Taja, you signed on twice. I'm not sure why, but we don't mind having two of you. All right. Rudy is in. Taja.
Hello. My friend didn't register, so I sent her my link, so it's coming up as me twice.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Hi, Taja's friend. How are you?
Hi.
What's your name, Taja?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jasmine.
Jasmine?
Oh, but now
Jasmine.
Jasmine, I'm sorry. Thank you, Jasmine, for logging on to this call. We're going to give it a minute. We were talking earlier about what is on your playlist. We got Pop Smoke. We got Ariana Grande. We got Dancehall. Beyonce. And I'm sure you guys want to know what's on my playlist, right? Guess what?
Yes.
It is? The top of it is Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
Anybody has any kids? I have an 18 months old. That's all she listens on my phone when she takes it.
Nice.
But no, I do have some other stuff. I have the Fugees. I have Promise It. I have Maverick City Choir, which is like a Christian gospel choir. Like I said, I have Pop Smoke. I have New Look, if you listen to Haitian Compa. What else I have? And then, let's see. I have also Phil Collins, because I had been listening to Feeling It in the Air tonight to pump me up for this call. No? I think I'm going to play that right now, in fact.
Play it. Let's get pumped with you. Play it.
Yeah, it's coming. I gotta put it up.
Nice.
Yeah. So as we wait, let's see if anybody else needs to get in. Okay, we're admitting one more person. We have Deacons. We have Judeline Dumais, my lovely wife. She's joining. Nice. We have Herbie. right. Oh my God. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can people hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, good.
yeah.
All right, good. So we have 7 people here. No. Let's see, admitting Ashley, Sophia. Hi, Herbie. How are you? Yes, you. Saying hi. Want to make sure I can hear you. You can hear me. Something is wrong here right now. Well, that's not good.
I can hear you.
You can? Okay,
I can
perfect.
hear you now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it was going in and out for a minute, but we can hear you now.
Was it? Oh, that's not
Mine was going in and out, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
mine was too.
Okay, so
Okay.
the connection was going in and out.
okay. I don't want it to.
While you guys are waiting, can you put your email addresses in here? So if I want to follow up with you, or if Mark wants to follow, we can have your email addresses in here, even though when you registered, it should have been in there as well.
Sure. Right
But
in
this
the
guy looks
chat.
familiar.
You might
You
want
wouldn't
to have them private if people don't want to share it with the
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
my bad. I forgot.
that's
Never
fine.
mind.
Yeah. You can private it to you or to myself, and that's probably a better idea because folks may not want to share that. On a
Email,
public.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Jasmine, Darnell. All right, we're unmuting. People are trickling in. Trickling in. I can say that 10 times fast. People are coming in, and so we're about to get this party started. I think my music just stopped. But I'm going to try to play it again. Lucille Francois is on. Welcome to everyone. Earlier we were talking, so if you're hearing some music playing in the background, earlier we were talking about what is in your playlist. And I was telling everybody what was on my playlist. And one of the things I was telling them was, In the Air Tonight, I was listening to it to kind of pump me up for this presentation. So they wanted me to play it. I'm playing that now, that's what you're hearing.
Not pushing on.
All right. We'll ask everyone to put yourself on mute if you're not speaking. Also, I want to mention that this call is also being recorded for the purpose of, we will have it as a resource so we can reshare it with folks. You can go back and watch it. It's going to be posted on the Colpatch Instagram and YouTube channel. So, yeah. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Okay. All right, we have 12 people. We're just gonna wait a little bit longer. Give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. We're expecting about 21 people who signed up for this call. So we'll give it a few more minutes as we listen to Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
I can't hear it. Can you hear it? Can anybody else hear it?
I can't hear it either.
Oh, you cannot?
No.
Is this
I
better?
can't hear it.
What are we listening for?
Oh no, you were listening. I had put in Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. You can't hear it?
No, I
But
can
not
hear
the music.
something, but not the song.
Yeah.
Oh, I was playing it off of my computer. I thought you guys could hear it. Oh, okay, well, I don't know how I would be able to play it on the computer, but so I guess I'll be the only one enjoying my Phil Collins. Forget you guys. Play it yourself. It's your own music.
He sounded like David Allen Boucher on Magic 106.7. Like, can you hear it?
Get your own music subscriptions, okay? All right. What time is it? All right. It's 8:36. Like I said, we'll give it a few more minutes. And then, maybe some folks forgot. And then, like we said, because it's being recorded, hopefully they'll get a chance to watch it again if they ever needed to. So we'll just do that. So my mute is not on. And feel free to show share your camera, if you want to. I like seeing faces. We'll get started in like a few minutes. I'll give it one more minute and then we'll get started at 38-ish. All right, we have 13 people. Actually, we could probably. All right, well, let's do this. All right, but this is the thing. And you guys know that part, right?
Yeah.
If you tell me you've never done this, then I don't know, something. You weren't feeling the music. All right,
that's the best part.
That's the best part, exactly. All right, I'll stop right now. All right, cool. Well, welcome to 21 in 21. I am really happy to have everybody here, everyone who took the time to log on. Like I mentioned, I know some folks, on here who work, a office job where they're probably on camera all day and they have yet another a call on Zoom that they're attending, so I really want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their busy schedule to log on. So what is 21 in 21? So my broker Jeff had this vision where we were looking to educate folks, right? So that was the vision. He thought to himself, you know what? Mark, we need to educate folks. We need to educate people out there who are looking to buy a home, but they really don't have the resources, the know-how, and just really like the information that they need. They don't know about the process of buying a home. So he said, you know what, why don't we just put together a campaign where we'll just provide information to folks, and then we'll try to get them ready and equipped to buy a home if that's what they want to do. So that's where this came from, and that's what this is. And so as I said that, the goal of this is really for education and providing the resources, and also lastly, to provide our services to folks out there. So we're a full-time brokerage, we're a full-service brokerage. We do both residential and commercial real estate. So we're here to not only provide, like I mentioned, provide the education, but also provide our services. And the 21 in 21 comes from that. The goal was, the vision was, that, we're going to try to get 21 folks to buy, 21 folks to be homeowners in the year 2021. So that's where that name comes from. And that's how we're doing it. Okay, so let's move on. So again, like I mentioned, it's a first-time home buyer. So this program is really catered towards first-time home buyer, but you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to attend it. Anybody who maybe want to buy a home, a second home, or vacation home, whatever it is, you can still log on. There's still something that you probably will benefit from. So we started out by having a person, a mortgage. Oops, so don't go too fast. We started out by having a mortgage broker come in and speak to us about the qualification process, right? And Rochelle 2 weeks ago talked to us about, what it takes to qualify. What do you have to look at? How much credit, what your credit score should be, what should she be looking for when you're applying for a mortgage. And already, I can tell you that we've had two folks who've already, we've had folks who've already reached out to her to try to get them to try to get qualified. So this is working. I feel like the education we're getting through to folks, and folks are getting the necessary tools that they need in order to realize their dreams as far as home ownership. And so today we're going to have Falasha Harrison come and talk to us about credit repair, and kind of like what is the importance of your credit when you're trying to of good credit when you're trying to buy a home. And she'll, I don't want to steal her shine because I know she has a whole presentation ready for you, but she's going to be talking about credit. right? And then later on, we're gonna have an attorney, Ali Manigat, come in, and he's gonna speak in 2 weeks, March 9th. He's gonna be speaking about like what the role of an attorney in the home buying process. So, you're buying a home, you're signing various contracts. There's so many language that, it's not everyday language in those contracts that, the layman will understand. So having an attorney is very important. So please be sure to sign up for that call and log on and listen in to Ali Manigat. And then later on, we'll have someone who, Andre, who's going to be talking about financial planning. Some of you may want to buy a home, but, like I said, your finances are a mess, and, you just don't know, you got to pay down your debts. You got to learn how to save. You got to do this, that, and the other before you can feel ready to buy a home. Well, make sure that you log on March 23rd to speak, to attend that call. And Andre will be talking about those things. And then lastly, we'll have Mike Reed. He's a bank branch manager at a local bank here in Boston. He's going to be talking about, just your banking needs and things that you might need, either as before you become a homeowner, or as you are a home, once you become a homeowner, you may need some banking services. So Mike Reed is going to be here, and he's going to be talking more about that. And then quickly, I think I'll skip this, but what I really wanted to speak about is quickly go over, because we're running out of time, but there's some great benefits to owning a home. So there's 5 here that I'm listing. As you can think, owning a home, you're paying mortgage, you're paying more down the principals. It's a forced saving plan, and another way, another benefit to homeownership is really that you're buying an asset that probably will create dividend later on at with little to no money down, right? So that's another great benefit. We also have that you can deduct your there's federal income taxes deductions, like your interest, right, that you can deduct. And also there's lastly there's your home will appreciate over time. So say a home that was bought 20 years ago is now worth a lot more than it is today. So I just wanted to kind of quickly highlight that as one of the reasons that we want to make sure that we're having those conversations about home ownerships. And this is yours truly. This is me, Mark Dumais. This is the way you can get contact with me through social media, my emails there, and I can later on share all that stuff with people once we get those email addresses. So that if you want to contact me for a consultation or to talk about your dreams and your wanting to buy a home and what exactly if you want to just have a conversation with me about that, you can contact me that way. All right. Without further ado, I'm gonna now pass the baton over to Falasha, and she's gonna take it over. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hey, everybody. So as Mark explained, I'm here to kind of go over understanding your credit for today's housing market and actually just having a complete understanding of credit. And I think maybe most of us will know now that credit is probably more powerful than cash. And it's very important to have a great credit score and to, have a good, steady credit history. So then I think the next slide, we're talking about credit reports. We're gonna go over credit reports, credit scores, the dispute process, and I'm gonna give you a couple tips on how to improve your credit. And then, this is conversational also, so you can unmute yourself if your background isn't noisy and ask any questions throughout or at the end. It's conversational, so we can talk about it. The next slide is credit reports. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but you can get a free copy of your credit report. And especially now during COVID, the annualcreditreport.com is giving out a free credit report, I believe, weekly. Every 7 days, you can get a new credit report. And the reason for that is because identity theft is a huge concern and a big issue, especially now when a lot of people have more time on their hands and they're at home doing a lot more transactions and being online more frequently. So therefore, their information is more accessible. This is my website right here, www.thecreditscoreexpert.com. I do credit analysis, which takes a a very deep look into your credit history and what's on your credit report. And if you need improvement, or if your score, whatever's on your credit, we can basically figure it out, see what needs to be, what's negative and inaccurate, and have it, disputed or removed via various techniques. And we have the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which requires that credit bureaus update and report accurate information. And credit bureaus should be following these requirements, which they don't always do. And it's not because they don't want to, but because credit bureaus get paid to report on our credit reports. So they're not really concerned with the accuracy. They're hoping that the creditors will make sure that the information they're providing is accurate, which doesn't always happen. So because of that, the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, was instated so that these credit bureaus and creditors were adhering to a guideline. So if you want to go to the next slide. And I talk about like your credit being in the hospital bills, which is a HIPAA violation, is also something that we can discuss. This is a tally of your credit score. So general, and it really varies too. Like you can look this information up online, and some will say that excellent credit is 760 to 850. Some will say 750 to 850 is good credit, but this is to give you just a guideline. If your score is in 760 to 850, you have excellent credit. That means that you have negotiating power. You're getting the lowest interest rate. You're getting the best deal that you possibly can on your terms. 700 to 759. It's very good. It's great credit. It's very good credit. It's not excellent. It's very good. You do have some negotiating, but you're not going to get the absolute best. A lot of people aspire for an 850 credit score, but that doesn't necessarily come immediately because there needs to be some variety on your credit profile in order. So you could have 5 credit cards and you'll probably marginalize in the 700s and not really get further into the 8s because they need to see revolving accounts, which is your credit cards, loans like a car payment or a mortgage. Those are the items that boost your credit more. So you can obviously still qualify for a home up to, I believe it's 640. Is that do you remember? Did the mortgage lady go over that last week?
Yeah, last week she did talk about what the minimum credit requirement was for, well, it depends on the loan. So for FHA, it's 580.
Really?
For conventional, yes, it's 620. That is what she had talked to us about.
Wow.
So now because of COVID and what's been happening with the with the housing market and the job market, not all lenders will, some lenders might have different thresholds, right? They may have different requirements, but the minimum that she had said that you needed was 580. Yep.
And I'm guessing 580 with solid work history, strong financials.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. And then a higher interest rate, not much negotiating, kind of like a car loan. You go in there, you have a 580, the car's 14,000. You got to put down 5,000 and pay 600 a month because of the interest rates, right? Okay. So the most important part of your credit profile is the credit score.
Question.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Are these
What boosts your credit?
We're going to get to that.
are these scores? Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead. I'm listening, Herbie.
Yeah. Are these Vantage or FICO? Because oftentimes
FICO. These are FICO.
Okay.
These are FICO. I'm only focusing on FICO in this presentation. I'm not touching on Vantage.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Next slide.
You can go to so there we go. This is another example. So credit scores generally range from 400 to 850. And this is another breakdown just to show you that variations, some companies or some ideas are that there isn't really a standard. So if you go on Equifax, they have a different rating. If you go on Experian, they have a different kind of chart. And if you go on TransUnion, they have but it stays in the same area of high 7s to 850, excellent, 740, mid 7s to low 8 to right below 8 is good. So you'll see that it varies. And if you want to go to the next one, this is what matters here. This is very important to understand how your score is calculated. So you have 30% utilization. So 30% of your score, not only do they want you to use only 30% of your credit card, but 30% of your utilization is 30% of your score is based on your utilization. 35% is on payment habits, paying on time, amounts paid, and late payments. 10% for the various types of accounts. So if you have like credit card, loans, personal loans, mortgages, car loans, inquiries are 10%, and 15% of your score is based on the age of your accounts as well. So the highest part of your score calculation is based on your payment habits, whether you're paying on time, the amount that you're paying, and if you have any late payments. If you have any late payments, you can usually ask for, what do they call it? Goodwill or good standing removal of the late payments if you're on time. If you've caught up with those payments, usually a creditor will remove the late payments. If you send them a letter and ask them to just, I've been with you for 6 months, I've been with you for 2 years, I had a mishap, my card information was compromised and I had to update my billing information. Would you please remove this because I've since paid forward? And they will. If not, it takes about 24 to 36 months for a late payment to be removed from your score. And that late payment will drop your score significantly, a lot, even up to 50 points sometimes, 70 points. Sometimes it's crazy how much it will drop your score. The age of your accounts are very important. I don't know if any of you guys have Credit Karma. Do you use Credit Karma to monitor your credit? Yeah, and Credit Karma will give you this type of information. Credit Karma isn't the most accurate. I would say Identity IQ is probably the most accurate credit monitoring, and they're live. So if something happens right now at, what time is it, 6:55 p.m., they're going to send you an email at 6:55 p.m. stating that an inquiry was made. Your score just dropped, your score just increased. They literally, we have it, weird, like, what do they call it? Suspicious activity on your credit profile. But they cost $24.99 a month. I think that's as low as my plan is $29.99, but it's worth it to me because they notify me of everything that's happening.
Falasha, we have someone who wants to ask a question.
Sure.
Tasha, go ahead and ask that question. Oh, it's.
Hi, I'm Taja's friend.
Hi, Taja's friend.
I'm Taja's friend. She was telling me all about this. I work a lot. I'm an essential worker. My name is Esther. I usually don't have the time, but I wanted to ask you guys while I was just listening, just so I can get some information because I missed the introduction. What company do you guys work for? And yeah.
Okay, so we're both agents of BTR, right? Boston Realty Group. So if you want to purchase, you can go through Mark or myself, but preferably Mark. This is his platform and I'm just a guest. Okay. And I have a credit repair company. It's the creditscoreexpert.com, or you can follow me at Falasha LLC. I'll put it in the chat. Okay. And then you can book a free call with me and we can go over any questions or anything like that. If you have, because you said you're an essential worker and I'm assuming your time is probably limited. So if that is the case, you can always book a call with me. It's half an hour, 15 minutes free, and you can pick my brain for anything. But yeah, so that answers
not to cut you up, but it's really important for me to get into this credit thing. I've tried other company. I'm not gonna disclose them out of respect. It didn't work for me personally, not that they weren't great. I have school loan that's kind of big heavy on me. I do my best to catch up with it, but with the pandemic, they kind of like put everything on their own little box. But the reason why I got into this. I am really seriously looking for a credit company that I can work with, whether it takes 6 months, a year. I'm up to it because I'm a future real estate agent. I'm currently studying. I have 1/2 of the test left,
Nice.
and I can enter the career. I think it would be inconsiderate to, even if the broker will hire me, I wouldn't want to buy a house from somebody that got poor credit but want me to have. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I want the knowledge of the financial freedom from something closer, because the one that I did was from other states and stuff.
Yeah.
I did it for 6 months. It didn't work out for me. So I'm looking for something where I met Taja in other groups, and she told me, she's like, I'll let you get in tonight, eventually introduce yourself. Because I was just texting her that I have questions, because I don't usually have time. So it doesn't always work. So that's why she did me the favor today.
That's fine.
But I would love if you can definitely put the PIN code in the information for me, so we can talk further.
We'll reach out to you. We'll reach out to you, or I'll find a way to get in contact with you. We can take this one offline, and you can speak to Falasha one-on-one.
Esther, no problem. And here's my phone number. I'll put my phone number in
Okay.
the chat. So, and that, what that does.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go offline because I think we
All
have.
right, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted
And
to
I've
introduce
been through
myself.
the
We'll
same
talk further.
No, I got you. Because I
Thank
know you go through credit companies and they don't, and I have a do-it-yourself kit too, which is I've laid it out very simply for you. So you don't even have to pay a bunch of money for someone else. You can just buy this and it'll walk you through, and you get the dispute letters and everything, but we'll talk.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna mute now. Thank you guys for the info.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right.
All right, so this is the calculation of how credit bureaus, well, the credit score companies come up with your score, with your FICO score. I didn't touch Advantage, Herbie, because I was like one thing at a time. You can go to the next slide for me, please, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the dispute process. Generally, how I do it is with my credit analysis, it shows me every discrepancy on your credit report. So if your address is incorrect, if there's account information that isn't similar, if you have duplicated accounts on there, if you have a collection agency that's reporting twice, if you have the same account being reported by 2 different collection agencies and the creditor, all of these things happen because no one's really monitoring your credit profile. That's your job. The credit bureaus just report. They don't monitor. So, and that's where Credit Karma comes in as well. But I don't know that they monitor duplicate accounts being listed on your credit profile. So with the dispute process now, the credit analysis finds all of these discrepancies for you. And then you have obviously a dispute plan. The first 30 days, usually when you do a dispute, you want to make sure that you include your ID, your social security card, and you're going to request that, the information be whatever the situation is. There's different dispute letters for different situations, but credit bureaus have 30 days to get back to you. If they don't respond to you within, well, now they're saying 45 because of COVID, but if they don't get back to you within the time that's allocated, then they have to either remove it or prove they have further work to do. And normally they don't want to do the additional work. So they usually either remove it or just ignore you. Now, if they ignore you, you have to continue to follow up with them, which is where it gets tricky for most people because we don't keep track of it, we're not aware of it, and you have a time frame in order to get back to them to say, hey, I reported on the 1st, you had till the 30th, you didn't get back to me, what's your next course of action? So the dispute process is where all the magic happens. This is where your report, your inaccurate, negative, and derogatory account information is removed. It can take 30 days, it can take 60 days, it can take 3 months, it can take 6 months. A lot of credit companies promise 30 days. You'll see some movements on your credit within 30 days if you do certain things, but it doesn't guarantee that your credit will be repaired.
Tell me, give me a quick example so I can visualize this. What could be an inaccurate information? Like, I mean, I'm assuming if you didn't pay something, you didn't pay it. How could that?
Right, if you have a late payment, you have a late payment, you didn't pay it.
Yeah.
So let's say you have something that's being reported twice.
Okay.
You have, yes, so that looks like two accounts. So they're not
Yeah.
looking to say, okay, this is the same Capital One account, it's just duplicated. No, they're looking at it as four of the six or two of the six are reporting negatively. That needs to be removed.
Got it.
Let's say you have identity theft. You have things on your credit that you didn't put there. How did it get there? Sometimes you have stuff on your credit report that you can't verify. It's not yours. Somehow it's gotten on there through identity theft. That's something that obviously needs to be removed. There's a process for that as well. So and then there's medical bills that really just should not be reported on your credit that need to be removed.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Just help me crystallize that. Any more questions on that?
I think they want to get to the next slide.
Okay. Sorry, guys, holding it back.
There we go. So in order to improve your score, so I have a book that I wrote and it goes over in a little more detail than this, how to improve your score. The first thing that I always suggest to everyone, and it has helped so many people tremendously, and it's free, is to have a family member or close friend add you onto their credit card account as an authorized user. But you want to make sure that this person is responsible, that you can trust them, because you're going to have to give them your social security number. Ideal situation would be someone with 20 years on this credit card, an American Express, 20 years with $50,000 credit limit. That would be the ideal situation. Your score you wouldn't need to do anything else but that, because your score would jump up 100 points. However, that isn't always the case. But if you can find someone with at least 5 years, it doesn't matter what the limit is on the card. What's most important is, well, the limit does kind of matter, but what's more important is the length of the card and the length of time that they've had this good reporting history on there. Because it doesn't make sense to have someone add you onto a card that they've had for 10 years and the last 2 years or the last year, they've had late payments. That's gonna mess you up. That's gonna drop your score immediately. So you want to make sure that you're being added to a card of a family member, a friend, or someone who has a good credit history standing for over 5 years of on-time payments. Doesn't matter if it's the minimum, it doesn't matter if it's just as long as it's on time. And it doesn't matter if it's a $300 card or a $5,000 card or a $14,000 card. However, the value, the credit limit will make you more credit worthy for higher credit limits with other companies. Next, pay your bills down to 50. People say pay it to 30% utilization, which is great. But if you really want to see an improvement on your score, you want to bring it down to 15%. So if you have a card that's a card of 10,000, you want to make sure that you're using your revolving balance is $150. And then you pay the minimum on that $150. And you continue to pay that minimum for about 6 months, 3 months, depending on what your goals are. You'll notice that your score will begin to increase as your balance is decreasing. If that doesn't make sense to you, ask me to clarify it and I will try to, because it sounds confusing, but it's really simple once you do it. Does that make sense?
For me, it does.
Okay, good. Okay, and then another thing to do is apply for a personal loan. Because remember in the previous slide, it shows that you need to have a variety of trade lines or accounts on your credit report. So you can apply for a personal loan of say $1,000 from your bank and then pay it right back. Once you pay it right back, now your score has increased and now the banks are seeing, or the financial institutes are seeing that you have a variety of accounts and you've managed to pay them. But the key to credit, to be honest with you, is the length of time and continuous paying. score quickly, you want to get it down to 15% utilization. And that's sometimes even beneficial with your overall credit availability. So like I mentioned with Credit Karma, if you have 5 cards with 4,000 balance each, that means that you have $20,000 of available credit, right? You want to bring the total amount down to at least 15%. Each card plus the total amount that you have that you're credit worthy for. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. And then put your bills on auto pay, which sounds simple, but it's really, it's just that simple. Like if you put it on auto pay and you have it set to pay the minimum, but then when you can, like, so all right, Saks, you have $1,000 Saks card. I use $1,000 on the Saks card, right? I'm gonna pay down 700. I'm gonna pay down 800. So the revolving amount remaining is 200. So my auto pay is set to pay the minimum amount of the 200 opposed to the 1,000. So I don't have that much interest accruing and compounding on my, what do you call it? On my balance. So it's less interest, and I'm still building my credit profile by paying the minimum on time. Because sometimes we think I'll just pay my bills off, and then you pay your bills off and then your credit score drops. That's happened. And that's because there's no activity happening on your credit profile. It's just showing that you have you're worth $20,000, but you're not using it. So even if you put like groceries on there and you pay the max, pay as much of it, and then have like $20 for next month. These are tricks that you use in order to improve your score over like 3 months. So if you're already in the 700s, low 7s, and you want to get to higher 7s, this is something that you do. If you're in the mid 6s and up, this is something that you want to do. If you're in 6 and below, then you kind of want to look at what's on your report. What can I get rid of? What can I pay down immediately? What's on there that shouldn't be on there? What's on there that I can dispute? How many late payments do I have that I can now dispute and ask them to remove for me? That's when you want to take a look at your credit and say, okay, this is what we need to do, and build a plan. What's the next slide? I don't remember what the next slide is. Oh, my contact information. So that was it. So we're done. Do you have any questions?
No, but we did have a question in the chat, and that was someone asking about your book. Is your book available in your bio to purchase? Is it an ebook or is it a physical?
It's an ebook, and it has like, you tell them about it. You read it, so you can, because I don't want to speak to myself about it. No. There's a worksheet I think is great. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is an ebook. And Falasha had sent it to me over to me. It's a great read. It's an easy read as well. You'll gain a lot of information in there. And it'll also speak, especially, and I was going to ask you that question, Falasha. How did you get into this? Why did you get into this? Why are you doing this?
Because I had messy credit. Oh my God. If you want to know about bad credit, this is her. And I don't like to live on other people's terms. And I was like, I'm very much a side note. Credit is power. And I don't like to feel like anyone has any power over me and my ability and how I'm going to exist in this world. And to live where I wanted to live, I needed to have a credit score, a higher credit score. To drive what I wanted to drive, I needed to have a higher credit score. So I had to get it together. Sister had to get it together ASAP. Like, so, because I work hard, so why can't I have the things that I want, right? And credit was the one thing that was interrupting me from getting the things that I wanted. So I knew that I had to figure it, and I sat, and when I tell you I studied, and I studied, and I learned, and I tried. And now I do this. I do this. And the do-it-yourself kit is, because I've had the situations where I've paid people to do my credit for me, and I'm paying like this $30 or this $90 a month, and nothing, after the first month, nothing happens. that ain't it. And then I was just like, I can do this myself. And then I started doing it myself. And then the do-it-yourself book that I, package that I have, it's not really a book, it's like a package. So the book, the planner, the checklist, and the worksheets are included, and it simplifies it for you. So once you get your credit report from annualcreditreport.com, then you can print it out, and then you can, with the worksheets, you're literally able to go through your credit report and see what's not accurate, write it down, have the account number and the address of the creditor plus the credit bureau that's reporting it inaccurately. And then all you do is just take that information, and then now I give you 10 dispute letters, and you can tailor them to, it gives you the meat and potatoes. And then you can like fluff it up with your own language and then just send it out. But don't sign it. Don't actually use your physical signature. Just send it typed up. Don't ever sign, because sometimes you might need someone else to advocate for you on your behalf. And if it's signed, if its signature isn't there, then it's harder for them to say, okay, Monet didn't really write this letter, Falasha did. Yeah. That's how I got into credit. And then why I did this is because it's tedious. And if you don't really, I have ADHD, let me just tell you, self-diagnosed attention deficit disorder over here, hyper, okay? And I was like, if somebody wanted to sell, if I had to do this myself again, it would need to be as simplified for me as possible, especially in this time. Like today, don't nobody got time for that. Like everybody's busy. So if we could just simplify the process, then there it is. And that's what I did. I simplified the process, made it really easy, and I got you. Oh, and another thing I would suggest, if you have kids, put them, and you know you're going to commit to keeping your credit cards paid on time, add your child to the credit card account early, so that by the time they reach 18, they have a solid credit profile, so that when they're in college and they're they're going through life, they now have some financial literacy and some financial backing. Because the worst thing to do is to try to start doing this uneducated and in the negative.
Yeah.
So if you have, just add your kids to your credit cards and keep it going. So that way it's passed down generation after generation of continuing to build, because that's what other people do for their families. And we need to start doing that for ours.
We have a question on the chat, and I think it's coming from Taja, and I think that's the real Taja.
Okay.
I am currently, and I don't know if you got in here early, you'll get that joke.
Right.
So next time, sign up early, okay? Inside jokes. No, I'm currently unemployed, but when I was working, I was on the journey of fixing my credit. And she said that she shared that with me, so that's why I know it's the real Taja. I started in August, however, now I don't have an income and she's unemployed. And should she wait until she gets a job, or should she continue the journey of trying to fix her credit? What would be your advice there? So she started it when she was employed. She got a job.
You know what? Message me. I got you, Taja. Don't worry. I got you. We're going to work this out together, because in order for me to give you the best suggestion or the best advice, I would need to see your credit. You to say, because there are some things that you can dispute and not have to pay, and there's some things that you might have to negotiate with the creditors to have it, or the collection agencies. So in order for me to really give you the best advice, I would need to see your credit, and I would like to do that for you. So if you don't mind, follow me and then hit me up and tell me you were in this session, and I will help you. And I'll give you some cute letters, and we can get it popping tomorrow. As soon as you're ready, I'm ready. And I'm not gonna charge you, because that's what we do for each other. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Now.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So we have another question. It says, I used to have 2 credit cards, one with 3,000 limit and the other with a 700 limit. I paid both of them off and closed the accounts. Unfortunately, now I have no utilization. I'm scared to open a credit card because I don't want a hard inquiry. So
What's your, all right, you probably don't want to tell me what your score is, but, or you probably don't want to put it on here, but you gotta have a credit card, bro. Like you have to, like,
oh, I think things are being short. What's going on here?
With my question, like I said, I used to have 2 credit cards, right? One was a
Mhm.
3,000, one was a 700. It was to Bank of America.
Okay.
I paid both of them off, and then I closed both accounts. So now on my Credit Karma, it says no utilization.
Right,
But Credit Karma is Vantage. It's not FICO.
right.
So if I log in right now,
They're different.
right. So I want to get a credit card, but will it be a hard inquiry? Will it be a soft inquiry?
It's gonna be a hard inquiry,
Yeah, that's the thing. And I already have,
but
yeah.
the
Yeah.
first 30 days, it'll drop your card, right? It'll drop your score, but then after it'll build it, it'll shoot right back up.
Okay. So my question is, what credit card should I get? Because I'm getting all these letters like, oh, Capital One and all these Discovery. I want to get a secure one and like restart the process. I know after 3 or 4 months, I might shoot up to like 680 or 700.
Well, 728, bro. You can get there.
You
You
know,
can.
so I think that's like when you said 35, what was it, 30? Because my payment history 35 is 100%. Everything's good. Never list the payment, but my utilization is 30, and I don't have any utilization.
Right.
Because I'm taught like pay cash. If I have it, I have it. If I don't, I don't. So,
Right.
yeah. If you have any tips about credit card,
So there's a trick with the cash thing. So if I go to, there's a statement date and there's a reporting date. So let's say your statement date is the 26th
okay,
of the month and your reporting date is the 28th of the month, right?
yeah,
You can pay up to, let's say you have $10 for easy math. I'm not that great. So $10 and you spend $7. You now want to bring that down to $5, right? So your balance by the 26th is $2. That's the statement date. So that by the time it's reporting a payment for $2,
right.
and your credit limit is still at,
10.
it's now at 8 opposed to 5 or 3 had you have spent the 7. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's that's the game that you play with them. And then I would definitely, I don't know, Capital One is a good card, but their interest rates are very high. Well, they can be very high.
Yeah.
It's really up to you, which like credit cards, I always go lean to Capital One or Bank of America. I have Capital One, Bank of America, American Express, and I have a MasterCard through TJ Maxx. Don't judge me, y'all, ladies in here. So there's options.
No judgment here.
But a good thing about being credit savvy is not having to worry about the interest rate if you plan to maintain under a 30% or 15% utilization, because 15% of what is it? Let's say 12% of $2 is less than 12% of $10. So as long as you know how to manipulate it, then you should be fine. It's up to you which one you're comfortable with. I couldn't suggest a card for you without seeing what is on your credit. And so I couldn't, but I always lean towards the ones I listed: Capital One, American Express. And I got American Express when I was like 728. And but the other ones, the first card I got was Capital, when I was rebuilding my credit, was Capital One. And surprisingly, it wasn't secured. They gave me like $500 unsecured. And then 6 months late, 3 months or 6 months later, they increased it to 1,000. And then I got like a Macy's card, and all the other stuff. But the American Express was the last one when I was in the 700. So it's up to you. I have Capital One, so I always suggest Capital One, and they make it so much easier. And FYI, Capital One has an amazing checking account. There is no overdraft fees. Like there's no overdraft. Let me repeat that. There are no overdraft fees with Capital One. Get their checking accounts, and they give you interest on your savings accounts. And I think there's a small interest on your checking account too. So I use them, and it's easy because it's one app and I can just transfer and pay.
Yeah. We have another question for you. How much is your starter kit? I mean, startup.
It's $249. It's $249, and you get the book, you get a planner, you get the checklist, you get the worksheets, and then you get the dispute letters.
Yeah, nice. Someone says, I've been with Capital One and for 3 years and I love them. So.
Yeah, they're great. Do you have their checking account? Oh, and somebody else hates them. See, it depends. It really depends on what's going on with you at that point or that time in life. That's really what it boils down to.
I have their savings account. I like them.
Yeah. Do you have their bank account?
I have their savings account, and I'm gonna do a high yield one as well. Savings account. Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Cool.
Anybody else have any questions? I'm gonna put my phone number in here again, and you can text me. It's better to text me. I will ignore your call. I kid you not, and I will send your information to my customer service person, and so just text me, and I'll know it's you, and then I'll answer. And you can follow me on Instagram, and just tell me you were in this Zoom, and I'll get you as much information as you need.
All right. We have 2 more questions. I had a secured card with Capital One. Now that my credit is in the 700s, should I close it?
No, just call them and tell them to because you want that history to remain. You never want to lose your credit history.
Yeah.
Just call them and tell them, listen, take a look at my score. They're great like that. Like, you call them, and the first person you speak to, they'll probably say, I don't have the ability. So, well, let me speak to your supervisor, because there's a retention department that wants to keep you, wants you to pay them, wants to maintain your business. So ask to speak to someone else and tell them you have a secured card, and now you want it unsecured with a higher limit. They'll give it to you.
Someone asked, are those worth it? Meaning, are those secured card worth it? A good start to build your credit? Is that what you're asking, yes. Lisa? Okay.
Yes and no, because you hear things like secured cards aren't great, but again, the secured card is to build your credit, not to live, not to have a lifestyle off of, to build, to get to the lifestyle. So you want to start with a secured card, and then make sure that you're using it. I talk about this in the book too, don't I, Mark? Do you want to use it for stuff like the grocery store? You know you're going to spend $200 at the grocery store. You use the card, right? And then, like I was mentioning to Herbie, right before the statement date, you bring it down, you pay the cash, you pay $150 on your credit. And then now you're paying $50. And then you make 3 payments on that and then pay it off by the 4th month. You don't use a secured card to have a lifestyle. You use a secured card to build your credit.
This is Elisa. I was asking in the chat about cards that report to one credit bureau. So the Apple card, it's a great card, but it only reports to TransUnion. Are cards like that worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So you still build your credit.
Because a lot of companies only check one credit bureau. So you might, like my car, they only check TransUnion. Another place, like I believe, don't get me to line, but credit, what do you call it? Capital One only checks one bureau. They don't all check all 3 bureaus. That costs too much money for them to do. So they only check one. So yeah, it's good to have.
Yeah. Sorry, Elisa, I missed your question, just the first part of the question. Try to put the question into one conversation or chat. That'll be easier for me. So far so good. Yeah, that's really it.
She forgives you. She forgives you.
That's awesome. But yeah, any more questions from anybody? So what are some of the, what would you say are top 3 or top 5 things you can do to either, screw up your credit really terribly or build it back up really nicely? So what would you say the top 5 things that you can do to really screw it up? Let's start with screw up first.
Not
Or maybe
paying,
3, if you can only think of 3.
not paying your bill. That's the main one.
Okay.
Not paying your bill on time,
Mm-hmm.
having late payments. That's the worst thing.
Okay.
Another thing is paying them off and not using them. Just having that, like
Really?
closing. Yes.
Paying them
Like, if
off
you
and not
have-
using them is bad.
Yes,
Wow.
it is.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
something that's good. That's good information for me because
All
I've
right, I'm
had
gonna tell
credit
you,
cards
I'm gonna
where.
tell you
Go ahead.
Like my sister and I, right? So her birthday came up in January. She blew a bag on her credit cards
Mhm,
for her birthday, but she's paid them down.
mhm.
So now the credit bureaus are seeing activity on her card. And now what she does is she pays at least, like if she spent 5,000, she pays 3,000 cash on it immediately. And then she pays down the other 2,000 over a period of time. So what that does is that lifts that increase. Now so if she was at 728 and she jumps down to 699, by the time she gets to the 3rd month of the 2,000 that she's paying off,
Mhm.
she's past the 628 now. She's gone up to 650, 651. So there's always with credit, you want to kind of like, it's a game, almost like chess. You have to be very strategic, especially when you're in the building stages. Like if you're building your credit, you want to make sure that your payments are on time, always on time, even if it's the minimum that you're paying, pay it on time. Paying off your bills, paying off your cards and just putting them to the side or closing the accounts. That's because then you're starting over from scratch.
Yeah.
Credit history is starting. A lot of people repair their credit, but they don't have any positive accounts. So let's say I rebuilt my credit, got everything off. Let's say everything was off my credit. Now I have nothing. I have no credit profile. I'm down to 0. Like my number is now the lowest that it can be on my credit profile. My FICO score is the lowest. And now I have to start all over again. So I'm going to have a 1-month-old credit card, a 3-month-old credit card, opposed to 5-year-old credit card.
Yeah.
The history is very important. So do not close the accounts. It's better to not use them opposed to closing them out.
Yeah. The better.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, so in my situation, right? So I have 21 total accounts, right? But out of the 21, 20 are closed. 1 is open. So the one that is open is my current car loan, right?
Okay.
So I got my car in November of 2019. So the car's like a year and 3 months, right? My car is almost paid off.
Nice.
So once I pay it off, I'm not gonna physically close it. The person that Capital One is my lender, they're gonna close it.
Right.
That's gonna affect my score.
Right.
So is there a way that I could say, don't touch it? Because once I pay off my car loan, they're gonna mail the title to me.
But it'll show paid. That's
Right.
not a bad thing.
It'll show paid in full. So will my score go down or will it go up?
It'll go down a little, but then it'll go back up. But
How
the
much?
thing with yours is that, I don't know how much. The thing with yours is that it's not a revolving account. It's like a loan account.
Right.
So which is good to have a loan account paid off.
Okay.
Because remember we talked about the variety?
Right.
Yes.
Because
So
once it's paid off, right? And if I open up a credit card, I'm gonna start off from
yes.
0 months or 1 month or 2 months or whatever the case may be.
But that's only with the credit card. You'll still have the loan for the car.
From the car.
The history of the car on your
so it'll say like a year and 4 months.
Yeah, why would you do it so fast?
Huh?
Why'd you do it so fast? Like, it's admirable and I love it, but why'd you pay it off so quickly?
Because me, I don't like, it was a 6-year loan, 72 months. And I'm like, nah, I want to.
Can you pay off mine too then?
Because me, I don't want to be in bondage for 6 years. It's like, let me just pay it off in a year and a half. So then once I pay it off, I could open up that credit card and then boom, 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 do that. I mean, I sent you my.
Falasha, one thing I want to make sure I clarify. You're not saying it's bad to pay off your loan fast, but if you're in the building stage, it helps you have longer history. That's what you're saying? Okay, I just want to make sure I clarify that.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you're in a place where you don't want to do anything, like you're just chilling, you don't want a car, you don't want a house, you're just on cruise control, then you can do various things with your credit and not really work. But if you're saying, okay, 6 months from now, I want to own a home and my score is 620 and I needed to get to 720 or 680 or higher so that I can get the best interest rate and the best score possible, and this is what you are going to do. But if you're just like chilling and you're not focused on anything in particular right now, then you can do some things and your score will drop, it'll increase, it'll drop, you'll see it fluctuate because it all depends on your activity and what you're doing and how you manage it.
All right, so I wanted to recognize that we're at a stop at 7:32. The meeting is kind of officially has run its course, but
wait, Tasha has a question.
But no, I'm gonna give them a chance. I just wanted to make sure I say that. So if folks want to log off, they can. But if you want to stay on and ask more questions, we want to do that with you. We'll stay. But I just want to make sure that I let folks know that don't feel obliged or obligated to just stay. Okay, so who's there was a question from the other Taja.
Esther.
This is being in this field. Have you been able to?
Esther. It's Esther. It's not really a question, but I wanted to relate to, I'm so sorry guys, like I'm not good with names. If I don't remember your name, please do not feel offended. I have the same problem that he was talking about certain things or when his time is. So I had one car, right? So I financed it, and in the middle of me financing it, I didn't get the chance to fully pay it. I had like maybe 2 late payments, but I had backup insurance, with I think they call gap insurance.
Yep.
So I fully paid the car. Somehow, somewhere, it's still draining. I think you say credentials or your points. Somehow it's still looking like negative, but I pay it fully, 0 balance. Whatever my insurance couldn't pay or the condo or the payment of I had, they pay the gap insurance, but I still have it there looking bad, like negative. And it's like, I don't understand because I paid the whole $13,000 plus change and I didn't have no balance. So
that's a reporting discrepancy. So that's an example of what you would dispute. Remember you asked me earlier, Mark, what's an example of what you would dispute if you paid your bill and you can't. But this right here is an example of what needs to be, of something that she can dispute that can be removed from her credit report. As long as you have, you don't even need to have, but as long as you have verification, but it's not 100% necessary because the onus is on them to prove to you that you didn't pay it off, because that's what the Fair Credit Reporting Act has done now. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says that just because big bad Equifax or big bad Honda says that Esther didn't pay it off doesn't mean that's true. You need to prove it that Esther didn't pay it off. So now they have to verify that information. So you can dispute that immediately, right away. Remove that off my credit report now, because you've paid it off.
That's why definitely I want to talk to you, because I actually took the time and called it myself, because I used to do bookkeeping multiple times. I try to touch it.
That's fine. Don't mute. We got babies over here.
I got 3 of them.
I'm a single mom. I got you. It's okay. I'm a grandmother. I got you. I get it. Let's go.
We have another question from Rudy. I don't know if you were done, Taja, number 2.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Thank you. She answered my question. I just have to personally call her personal so we can discuss further. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Rudy has a question. Rudy, go ahead.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're good.
My question was, as we're talking about disputes, how long does like a late payment stay on there, or how far back would like a creditor look?
24
when
months.
24 months.
36. 24 it depends, 24 to 36. It will take you up to 36 months of consecutive on-time payments to remove one late payment.
Wow.
Okay.
That's 3 years if you do the math, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you can, if it's one time, or you have like, you can, right now with COVID, creditors are very like understanding, and they don't want to deal with a lot of extra paperwork either. And they don't want to have to renew or redo, reestablish certain rules to deal with like the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because they don't play with them. So you can send them a letter, a letter, and just say, listen, COVID times, can you please, I have had prior to this, I've paid on time. Now I had this one time out of the many, please remove it because I'm up to date now. And if they don't, you keep sending them letters and they'll get tired of you, and then they'll delete it. Trust me, it's worth it.
So if you have something that's late from about a year ago, would you still send a dispute, or it should be like something recent?
Usually within 24 months, but
okay,
you can still send it. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it's just a stamp. I would still send it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let them tell you no instead of you telling yourself no. Let them say to you. That's my rule in life.
100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yes.
I agree.
No,
I like that.
I was gonna say, Rudy, I know like to add to what Falasha was saying, is that as far as like calling them in COVID time, if you had a late payment, like call them. I've actually exhausted mine because I've had 3 and they're like, dude, no, this was your last 3rd one. Like, no, so my 4th one they didn't want to give it to me. But definitely call them. They'll you know, they'll take it off. And you know, I always give them a story, obviously, that you know I forgot, and you know, it's usually that the reason. And that's why the tip about putting your stuff on auto pay is really good. And then especially if you know you have the money to pay, put it on auto pay, because that's how I missed like 3 payments. And then and again, just call, especially in COVID time, call. Like they give me 3 chances. So take advantage of that right now if you have late payments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you have a car payment and you might not be able, you can call them ahead of time and ask them to put it on the rear. So it'll extend it, it'll go on the rear, and then you can just catch it up eventually. So there's always options. It's just when we ignore the creditors that, you know, things get messy for us. So that's probably the 4th way to mess up your credit, is to ignore the creditor when you need a little bit of assistance or a little bit of time to take care of something. Keep them in the loop. You're on mute, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So then, what are some of those? Well, I guess what are some top 3 ways to increase your credit? I guess quickly. They were ready. Say somebody was ready. They're like, Mark, I want to buy a house like next month. But my credit is really
authorized user.
Authorized user is the
authorized user, and pay down. Like, let's say you have 5 cards. One has a $200 limit, and the rest, like, you start with the lowest. So you get added on to someone who's got a solid credit history on a credit card, right? And then you want to start paying down the lowest cards that you like, the lowest credit limit cards that you have. So the $200 one, the $500 one, the $700 one, and then you start chipping off at the bigger one, right? And there you have it. That's right there going to increase. I've had people message me where their score has gone up 70 points just by that post that I put up on Instagram saying, get added as an authorized user.
Nice. Sweet. It seems like Taja number 2 has another question.
It's Esther.
Okay,
I wanted to ask you, I know I look very young, so I'm going to say that off that. I have a 13-year-old. So how soon can you add your child to the credit card to help them have financial freedom?
13 years old.
We'll talk, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice. All right, guys, we're at 7:40. I want to be respectful of everyone's time and of our speakers' time. So I wanted to kind of give a last chance to ask any questions, any closing remarks from you, Falasha.
I don't really, I mean, I'm gonna put my contact information in here again. I am a business person, but I'm also a people person, like our people person. And I truly believe that we need to be buying the blocks. So, and credit is the first way to getting there. So any way that I can help you without like sacrificing too much of my livelihood, I am more than happy to do that for anybody in here. Just mention that you were on this Zoom and I got you. Whichever way I can help you to get the credit improved or get you on that track, we can do this. I'm ready.
I
Just hit
love
me up.
that.
I
Put this
love
in
that
here
too.
again.
I love that.
That's
Girl,
awesome.
you're
I
for
really
us.
want to.
This is Jazzy, the third child.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So there
hey,
you go.
I
Just follow
I
me on
love that.
Instagram. Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
really love that
Thank you.
because
But it's true.
I wanted to do that as well, but I have a lot of building my credit back to do. And I do eventually want to buy a home or a duplex or whatever the case may be. So I really like that. Our
Definitely.
people, I really like
Yes.
that. I
I'm
love
here
that
for
for
us. I'm
real.
here for us.
Because they don't ever want to see us win, but I like that. Okay. I'm for it all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I got you. I genuinely mean it too. Like, I'm not just saying it because we're here. Hit me up and then put me to the test. Like, call my bluff.
All right. I will be calling you because I want
And
to get this thing started.
Okay, good. Good.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
hit me up on
everyone.
Instagram. That's it.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everyone. All right. Bye-bye.
I'll be calling you.
Good night. Good night.
All right.
Thank you,
Where's
guys.
Herbie? Herbie left. Bye, Herbie.
I'm here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay, there you are. Bye.
Herbie, you staying back to talk to us or what?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
No, I
Okay.
mean, yeah. So like my situation, I already DM'd you my situation, Falasha. Kind of like, you know, where I am. You could take a look at it. And yeah, I just have my student loans really to pay off and my credit, and my car. It'll be paid off next month. But after that, I want to aggressively pay off my student loans in 2021. And then 2022, like really save. And then maybe sometime next year, like 2023, like get the property.
Do you have a Robinhood account?
Me, no.
Download, I'm gonna text me and I'm gonna send you the link for Robinhood.
Yeah, I
They
text
give you a
you.
free share or free stock and a free share in a stock. And that's starting your financial building. So we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
get Robinhood for sure though, because Robinhood is an investment, like it plugs you into the stock market and it gets you, and why I like Robinhood, because you mentioned the saving, is because it breaks down the stocks for you. Like it explains which one this is, why this is important, why it's not. We'll talk. Just DM me.
Okay.
I don't want to talk too much and then it's like boring to somebody else. So
Yes. No, that's fine. I think everything you're saying is very valuable, and I think folks